All right, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. If you will, take a seat, please. This is the retirement committee, and I know people have got things to do, so we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Sam Watson, and Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you. HB 196, is that correct?
House Bill 196 was a bill that was passed out of the committee a couple of weeks ago. It was asked to be returned to the committee for an amendment to the bill, and so I'm going to go over that amendment now. We don't have a committee sub, but I felt like we could just do my proposed amendment, and legislative counsel's here, and he can take care of that. So if you'll look at House Bill 196 on page 1, and this is the only page that a change is made, starting on line 16, after the word system, there will be a period. And then we will strike, provided, however, that such terms shall not include, and then we will strike lines 18, 19, 20, and 21. So it will go from on line 16, which has public employees as members of the retirement or pension system, period. And then we'll go down to line 22, where it defines public retirement system trustee. I'll be glad to answer any questions if there are any.
All right, do we have any questions?
I will point out that it was felt that even though these groups that were exempt we're not exempting them, and they're still doing this, but there could come some time when they're not doing it, and so we decided that we would not exempt anyone on this particular piece of legislation.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I don't see any questions. This time I'll entertain a motion. All right. Okay. Is that a motion to amend? Okay. We got a motion to amend. Second. All those in favor on the amendment, please say aye. All right. Amendment passes. Now let's vote on it as amended. Do I have a motion? Got a second? Second. All right. All those in favor? Aye. All right. You got a bill, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you, sir. The second bill is a bill that we have listened to for, this will be the third meeting that we've had discussion on House Bill 109. And as we have gone through this, I have tried to listen to everybody that has come up and has spoken on the bill, and have tried to incorporate the ideas into the bill. The bill itself still calls for a defined benefit plan. The changes that have been made, the people in the audience are well aware of those except one, and we made one final change on the bill, and that change will be to the employee portion of the bill, starting on lines 56. It says, for an individual who first becomes a member or who withdraws his or her accumulated contributions on or after July the 1st, and we added that as well. We wanted to make sure that there was no question about who was a member of the retirement system and when they joined. Not less than 6 nor more than 8.5%. And that percentage will be determined annually by the board and shall reflect needs of the fiscal state of the retirement system. So we have heard the members of the education groups and from individual teachers, and of course the bill has been a work in progress from the very beginning. But we feel like that all the things that have been done makes this a very workable bill, and I would appreciate the committee's do pass at the appropriate time.
Mr. Chairman, I think we do have one person signed up to speak.
Okay.
If that's all right, we'll go ahead and allow him to come up. Vincent Fort, Georgia Federation of Teachers. You want to come on down? Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Appreciate the opportunity to come before the committee. I am not going to be repetitive. There had been a lot of discussion in the prior two sessions, which are, so I'm not going to repeat, except to say that Georgia Federation of Teachers still retains some of the concerns that it has, that some of the others have, other people speaking to this bill have voiced. And I won't go through all of those. I appreciate the changes to the bill. Those are very important changes. But I think the overall challenge that we face with the bill is the impact it's going to have on teacher recruitment and retention. I think those issues still remain, and I think that they're problematic, Mr. Chair, and it's problematic to the extent that the bill going forward doesn't speak to those issues. Now, the other thing I will say is the recent audit is kind of the elephant in the room. The recent audit it seems to me to be even more reason for us to take a look at the impact of that information on TRS and on how we're going to do this. So that I think that is creates even more reason for us to be very careful in moving this bill forward, Mr. Chair. I know I have 5 minutes, but I think I'm going to limit my comments to that because you've heard, and I appreciate. I really do want to make sure the chair knows I appreciate the changes, the Rule of 85, and the other changes made to the bill. But it is the impact it will have on teacher retention and recruitment, particularly after several years. I know in the mid-teens, we lost 44% of our teachers in 5 years. And so the retention of teachers in Georgia is still a critical issue, and I think this would aggravate it. But thank you for allowing me the opportunity after the previous two sessions to have a conversation with you about it.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Fort? All right.
Thank you.
I don't see any. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
If I could, Mr. Chair, I'd like to address his concerns on teacher recruitment and retention. As a retired educator, I don't look at teacher retirement as being a major recruitment tool, because most of the people that go into teaching are young. They're not even thinking about retirement. Most systems have to tell these teachers that they have a retirement system that they'll be paying into. I do look at it as a recruitment as a retention tool, that once they get in and they see that they've been in there for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, they realize they're vested, they're going to stay. And the problem that we've got to do now, it doesn't have anything to do with this bill. We've got to make teaching an occupation that garners more respect than what it does. We've got to get away from some of this paperwork. We've got discipline problems. All these things go along to teachers leaving the field in the first 4 or 5 years. And a lot of them leave in the first 3 years because it's not what they thought it was or what it was going to be. They might have been called to teach, but all the stuff that they're having to do, it makes it to the point of almost not being worth it to undergo the pressures and being held accountable for kids that you have no control over after they leave the school and these types of things. So I just wanted to comment on that, and again, would appreciate a do pass from the committee. Thank you.
All right. At this time, I'll accept a motion on the bill. All right, we've got a motion. We have a second. We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? No. Got a 2-2 tie. Representative Tarvin, you joining us? Yes. You gonna? That's fine. We're voting on HB 109. We just called for a vote. And it is a substitute. LC 43-1270S. The bill. Your vote's aye. All right. We've got a 3-2 vote. Your bill passes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, I believe that concludes this meeting. We're adjourned. Thank y'all for being here.